Welcome from the Feed the Future Innovation Lab for Livestock Systems. This set of 8 short training videos will explain how to develop training manuals that are designed for use by other trainers. So, what is a training of trainers? This is a term that is used to describe training that is provided for participants who will go on to repeat the training for others. In other words, participants in a training of trainers will themselves become trainers. A training of trainers manual is a resource similar to a textbook or a curriculum guide. It is typically specific to the training that was provided to the participants, but unlike a workbook, it includes resources for how to conduct training. This includes the subject matter content, but also activities, schedules, lecture notes, objectives, and more. The 8 videos in this series will focus on how to develop a high-quality training of trainers manual. At the end of these 8 videos, you will be able to state the basic tenets of adult learning, describe the strengths of backwards design and planning for training, create measurable learning objectives, align evaluations with learning objectives, align subject matter content with learning objectives, develop session plans for a training need, and develop agendas for a workshop. This is the first video of the series. We suggest that you follow through each video as outlined. However, you can also skip to a specific video if you wish. This video is the first of the series and will provide a brief introduction to the fundamentals of adult learning. At the end of this video, you will be able to state the basic tenets of adult learning. This set of videos has 3 assumptions about your participation. First, we are assuming that you are aware of the target audience for a training of trainers manual. That may be a Livestock Lab University partner, NGO partners, a community, and so on. Second, we are assuming that you are aware of the needs of the target audience for their training. And third, we are assuming that you are the subject matter expert who will be developing a training of trainers manual, meaning that you know the subject matter but are participating in this training to learn how to turn that subject matter into a training resource for future trainers. The training approach that we will use in this series of videos is based on a theory of adult learning called Kolb's experiential learning cycle. This is a great theory to model your training after, as it is a basic theory that has a lot of impact. The experiential learning cycle focuses on the relationship between how adults learn and how they transfer what they learn to real-life scenarios. First, adults learn the best when they have a concrete experience or can reinterpret a past experience. This means that when training adults, it is important to include both hands-on experiences and the opportunity to think about and interpret past experiences in a new way. This means using active teaching methods such as brainstorming, case studies, discussions, and getting into the field to practice. After a concrete experience, it is important to have a period of reflective observation. This allows the adult brain to process the experience that it had. It is also important at this stage to identify and clarify any inconsistencies between the experience and understanding. In terms of teaching methods, this might include personal written reflection, discussion in dyads or groups, a whole group discussion, and similar methods. Next is abstract conceptualization. This is when new ideas are formed based on reflective observation or when ideas are modified. In other terms, this is when an adult learner has a concrete experience, reflects on this experience, and then modifies this experience to transfer to a new or different situation. A trainer can help in this process by providing activities that encourage the learner to apply the information that they are learning in a new or different way. For example, perhaps at this point in the training, there is a case study activity in which the learners read a case study that presents a problem, and then they apply what they have learned to solve that problem. The last part of the cycle is active experimentation. This is when a learner takes all of the previously mentioned experiences and directly applies it to his or her context and surroundings. This may happen over the short or long term. As a trainer, there are 2 ways to help with active experimentation. Let's assume that the first 3 parts of the cycle, concrete experience, reflective observation, and abstract conceptualization occurs in the classroom. Perhaps there is then an active experimentation stage when the participants go to a farm and directly interact with animals using what they have learned in the classroom. A completely different approach would be to follow up with participants after the training, say 3 or 6 months later, to determine if and how they have transferred what they have learned to their own lives. Then the training will be modified accordingly. Notice that the experiential learning cycle works on a continuum between concrete experience and abstract conceptualization, which influences the way that we perceive information, and between active experimentation and reflective observation, which influences how we process information. Paying attention to Kolb's experiential learning cycle when you develop your training materials is a great way to ensure that the participants will not only learn the knowledge, skills, and attitudes that they need, but that they will also transfer this information to their own situation and context. So as you are developing your materials, remember instructional activities where the participants do, observe, think, and plan. Now for a brief review. Kolb's experiential learning cycle focuses on the relationship between how adults learn and how they A. transfer what they learn to real-life scenarios, B. perform on tests and evaluations, C. change their behavior, or D. differ from youth and adolescents. The correct answer is A. Kolb's experiential learning cycle focuses on the relationship between how adults learn and how they transfer what they learn to real-life scenarios. According to Kolb's experiential learning cycle, learning activities for adults should be structured for their participants to do, observe, think, and A. take an exam, B. plan, C. evaluate, or D. analyze. The correct answer is B. According to Kolb's experiential learning cycle, learning activities for adults should be structured for the participants to do, observe, think, and plan. Please continue to the next video in the series on backward design of training.